Hey everybody, this is Chris Steele from Fun Infused Games. Here, I just wanted to kind of share some of the different developer tools that I use to make my games. I guess I've been doing this for quite a few years, I think like 8 years now, the indie development stuff. And I didn't realize until I actually started writing this down how many different little things that I use to put together my games. I'm going to share with you the ones that I use most often. There might be a few other things I use here and there that I'm going to leave out. But yeah, I think this should be probably pretty useful. And, I'd be interested in hearing what other people use too that I might not know about. So we'll start out with Visual Studio. So all my games, I use MonoGame and Visual Studio. So let's see, I'm on 2015. I think I had a MSDN subscription, so that's when I ran out, so that's why I don't have 2017. And then MonoGame, you can go to monogame.net to get it. It's a free cross-platform framework. It's essentially open sourced. I think it's open source, but it's free, whatever it is. Essentially a re-implementation of XNA that runs on more platforms. So don't quote me on everything I said about that. I'm not trying to sell you a MonoGame, although it is great. Yeah, let's not get hung up with that. So the next thing, if you're doing game development, it's like super important that you use some kind of source control. I prefer to use SVN. Well, I prefer to use TFS, but I use SVN because it's free. It's got a browser plugin, and then what you can do is you can set up a website. I use xp-dev.com, and that way all my files, when I commit them to source control, they're saved offsite, they're backed up. I have them on my local PC, plus I have them out in the cloud. Whatever that happens to be. So that's really important because you don't want to lose your files. You don't want your desktop to crash and be out of months of work or have to redo, even if it's just a night or two or a month or two. I make a habit of basically every night committing. So you select commit with SVN once it's all set up, and this little commit window pops up. And I'll have to double check this so that I didn't have my password or anything showing. I don't want to put that in the video. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Now I can access this on my laptop, which I also use for development when I'm out of the area. The next thing I use for a lot of my art, I use Photoshop. I've got an old version of Photoshop, like before they did the Adobe Cloud stuff. I've been really thinking about getting a newer version for like $9.99 a month. You can get the brand new version of Photoshop, and I've been thinking really hard about doing that. This is let's see. Well, it's pretty old. It's 2011 age Photoshop. So I also have something here called Affinity Designer. It is a vector art program. This cost, I want to say it was like $100. I'm just trying to learn how to use this, so I haven't really done anything with it, but I think I'm going to be able to use it for some logo, some design, some title art stuff, maybe some t-shirts, and things like that. And then if I ever get out of the pixel art realm, it might be even more useful, but I don't know it well enough to do anything significant with it, but I'm working towards that. I have been using Premiere Pro, like a really old version of that in the past, but I'm trying to find something that's a little bit more up to date. I might end up going with Premiere Elements because you can still buy that for $100, and it seems to have all the features that I want in a video editor. There's a couple other free ones though I want to look at. I've ruled a couple out that didn't meet my needs, and then I'm trying to find, you know, if those don't pan out, I'll spend $100 for Premiere Pro. Depending on what program you're using to export, where you're making your videos, this Handbrake tool, which is also free, is super handy. Basically, you select your source video, and then you output it as a MPEG. So if your video capture program is exporting as AVI, or even like as a not real compressed MPEG format, this can cut your files down significantly, and you know, makes it so you don't have to wait like hours to send something up to like YouTube. So this is a super handy program to use. For the little bit of sound design that I use, sound editing, I use Audacity. I mostly just trim things and reverse things and fade here and there. So I don't do a lot with this, but it's actually a pretty good like wave editing tool, and also free. Yeah, and any of these tools, if you find them useful, even the free ones, like there's probably a way with each of them if you want to donate and, you know, help out further development on them, you know, or say thanks or whatever. So just throwing that out there if you want to give back to anybody. All right. The next thing I use is this program called Bfxr. If you ever meet me in person and I try to tell you about this one, I'm going to call it BXRFBZDW. Like, I can never, ever seem to, for whatever reason, get this acronym right. I don't know if it's even an acronym as much as random letters. But all my games use like a chiptune sound. And so this is like a chiptune generation thing. So if you want to do like a pickup coin, let me turn the volume up a little bit. Okay. Hopefully, I don't know exactly how this sounds. I forgot to test this before I started recording. So what you do is you click on the button, say pick up coin, and it generates a random coin sound. So like all these settings right here in the middle, these are randomized. So every time you click that, but it's random in a way that it should sound like a pickup or a coin. And, you know, laser shoot, explosion, power up, and then you can adjust all of these. And whenever you adjust them, it'll play like whatever the change is. And I can't actually hear this right now as I'm recording, so I'm presuming they sound different and amazing. But you can go off that, or you can click on where is that? Oh, mutation, which kind of like takes what you started with and kind of mashes it around. So I do primarily all the sound in my game with this. So it's really cool, really interesting tool. If you use XNA, or not, well, I guess if you use XNA, or if you use MonoGame, this other program here called BMFont is really useful. What this allows you to do is choose any of the fonts that are installed like on your desktop and export them to like a bitmap that can be pulled into your game. So this is really useful if you want to use more than sort of the default fonts that are available, which aren't a lot. So I always have like a pixel art style, you know, score counter or something that I have to pull in using this. All right. ScreenToGif is another really cool one. Let me show you by recording one of my actual game here. See, this way I can promote my game while I do this. So, alright, so it overlays over the screen, and basically you set the parameters down here of how big you want it, how fast you want it to go, and then let's see. You just hit record when you're ready to go. It starts recording. And everything that's going on within this Windows screen. So if I move it around, it's going to record over here, here. It's going to make you dizzy. Oh, I didn't want to do that. And then when you stop it, it pops up this. And this has got like all the frames that are recorded, so you can kind of You can kind of see down here, and it's got some basic editing things. If I want to like just trim these out, you know, I want to get rid of these, so I just have, you know, this section. And it's a really nice tool then to export these to GIFs, and then you can GIFs, not GIFs. I'm saying GIFs because it's a G. You can export these like pretty easily and share them on Facebook or Twitter or, you know, whatever you like. And then yeah, you just whenever you're done, you click save as, choose your name. It takes, I mean, it doesn't take long for a small GIF to render. It's a pretty nice tool. I highly recommend that for promoting your stuff. I think I've gotten the best sort of sharing and impressions of my work through sharing GIFs. So good idea. And then the last thing that I use is this OBS Studio, which is actually what I'm using right now. So you can kind of see me watching me recording, and I don't know what they call this effect. I'm sure there's a name for it, but it's kind of neat. So, but as you can see here, you set up your different scenes, your different capture devices. You can kind of, you know, you can put different things on this canvas, and then this canvas is what's recording. So I got myself down in the corner. I don't have to do any video editing to do this. You know, when I'm done, I click stop recording. It'll export. I might have to use Handbrake. I can't remember. It's been a little while since I've done this. So I might have to use Handbrake to trim that video down, but then it's ready to put up on YouTube. So anyways, that's a quick rundown of the majority of the stuff that I use at Fun-Infused Games. You know, I hope that helps you, and you know, by all means, if you have something cool, please share that with me too. Thanks. Bye.